Heyo, welcome to Ch64 Chats. So each and every month, Ch64 holds a meeting to make sure we're all on the same page, go over any updates to policies, regulations, server, story, etc. And it's been a regular occurrence for many of us to hang out after the meetings and catch up, so we thought, why not make content out of this? And so we've devised a bit of a format to things and have made it into this community event, later to be posted on the Ch64 YouTube as sort of a low-key podcast. For anyone watching on YouTube, this was recorded live in the Ch64 community Discord, so if you want to hang out with us in the chat and ask questions, make sure you follow that link below to join us. For those who are here, we are so glad you are. We've made this Discord a stage so that we can share our screens with you, and you are welcome to chat and talk as we go. Now, our meeting recap. I did not prepare the notes like I meant to here. So, meeting recap. And also like to think in my mind where we want to disclose and what we don't.
Oh, it was a juicy one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess I have ultimate authority here, especially because I'm gonna edit this and let it slip. So we are looking at wrapping up this season and beginning talks about going into the next season. And so with that became a lot of talks about what we need to do to finish up this season and do that story-wise and building-wise, timeline-wise, as well as what we're going to need to start next season. So that's about...
Emphasize timeline, because this ain't happening next week.
Yes, timeline.
Oh, God, yeah, I hope.
There's
nothing like being prepared.
Yeah, without giving a firm date timeline, a few months. This is not going to be an overnight thing. We have lots of things to wrap up here on the Ch64 SMP Season 2. So, the main topic for this episode, we are going to be talking about mods and how they relate to a Minecraft SMP, as well as content creation in general. So, as always, this is the third time, but as always, I will start by giving a bit of the Ch64 perspective, and then we'll roll into individual mods and what we like, and just kind of a general discussion. So our goal
Hello,
here...
Mr. Dragon.
Mr. Dragon, welcome. So our goal here within...
There's a dragon?
You're derailing things.
Sorry.
This is
I have never been to one of these things. I don't know what's happening.
No, I know. It's like every meeting, Duds. I talk for a long time, and then you get a chance to talk. But the podcast side of things, you know. Also, though, I don't edit this as strongly as Carl edits the withering effect, so this goes up as is for the most part, because that takes extra effort.
Hello, Jinjin.
So our goal within Ch64 is to keep our server relatively vanilla, while also allowing for innovative new mods, data packs that can expand creativity and function on the server without ruining the overall vanilla feel of the game. So this would be like anything that adds new blocks or features, things that might change gameplay. And then, of course, anything that does challenge that line for us, we put to a vote to ensure that all players are content with the server balance so that we can keep it kind of vanilla plus. A lot of the mods we look at are either focused on improving like content timelines or adding to the story levels. So, for example, the most obvious mods that most of us utilize here are Replay Mod and Light Matica. So, Duds, would you like to tell us a little bit about Replay Mod?
I am the worst person to ask about Replay Mod.
Well, I figured you'd be even
out the timeline thing.
You'd be even worse to ask about Light Matica, though, and Loki's online for Tortsens. So, actually, I'll talk Tortsens. Loki can talk custom entity models. So tell us just a little bit about, in general, what Replay Mod is and what it brings to the server.
Me?
No, Duds.
I think he means me, but I have to keep pausing to cough.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I mean, I can take any of them, and it's fine.
See, that's the
Yeah,
problem,
go
though.
ahead.
You could take all of them.
Yeah, I could do all of them.
All right, tell
I
us a
talk
little bit.
enough on Sundays.
Okay. So replay mod basically captures any changes and updates that you make throughout the game. So think of it as the name implies, a replay. So like an instant replay, you can record yourself doing things. A lot of times we use it for build time lapses, so you can use that to speed up, video footage. You can then capture it from other points of view outside of just, a person. You can look at doing it from the view of another entity, so like a mob, or you can do a free cam and just basically capture stuff. And what's kind of cool about it is they have a timeline where you can keyframe out like movements of the camera, so it's not just a static image the entire time. You can kind of transition between stuff, and it makes it a lot more cinematic.
Exactly. It's
It's
fantastic.
perfect for storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of creative things you can do with replay mod and camera work, and it really brings a lot to the editing table, aside from the first, third, second person views that you get in vanilla Minecraft. So the next main mod that we use a lot of here, not everybody, but we do use a lot of, is Matica. Jess, do you want to tell us a little bit about Matica?
I love Matica. Because I mean, it's building freehand is great. And I know, Duds, you do that a lot. I'm
Yes.
very, very finicky when it comes to building, so I will tend to kind of go into creative and start building something, not like it, knock it down, rebuild it, knock it down, rebuild it. If I was to do that on the server live, and again using replay mod to do a time lapse, it would look ridiculous. So it's nice to be able to plan builds with Matica as a tool to take what I've built in creative and then show an image of it in the game, so I can see where I need to place the blocks to rebuild it on the server. I don't think it's cheaty. I think it's as all of the mods that we use, they're more tools to making content quicker, so we can get more content out to you guys.
Yeah,
It
a
also
lot
helps
of
too, like, I was gonna say it also helps with like different things. So Lightmatica, because I don't know if we explained it exactly, it basically allows you to make a schematic, which is basically like a blueprint of a build that you've done or an area that you select, and then project it almost like a hologram in the world that you're building in. And you can do it layer by layer so that you know where each block that you need to place goes, so you can recreate something that you've built before. And what's nice about those, it allows you to like move stuff around, so you can like say, okay, I want to see what it looks like here, or I want to rotate it, I want to mirror it, or something like that. And so you can do all that. Plus, not only that, but with the schematic, it will tell you, here's the list of materials that you need, so you can make a list for yourself and go gather those materials. And it's not like, well, I think I need like 2 stacks of this and 1 stack of this. You'll know for sure, based on where you place it, what you need to build the thing that you're trying to build. And so it just saves a lot of time, especially since we're not doing this full time. It saves a lot of time, and it makes it easier to iterate on stuff a lot quicker.
Yeah, it allows us to take a build that we've made in creative and then rebuild it in the server, as well as kind of like allows you to open up the opportunity to try new blocks and things that you might not have in survival, and then know what you need to go find them and then put them together to make your build. So
it can also be quite collaborative as well. If you want maybe help to build, you can share schematics between you, and so you're all looking at the same thing, and you can build as a group, knowing exactly where you need to put things, rather than having to try and keep asking all the time, oh where do you want me to put this, where should this go, because you can all see it at the same time.
yeah, it's a great way to share those resources. And that's something we did on a stream recently where I shared the schematic with you and we could both kind of hang out on stream, chat and talk. And the reality is all it did was save us time and confusion and some communication there so that we could focus our communication on the stream and content creation.
Talking to the audience.
Talking to the audience. So let's see. The last one I want to, nope, not the last one. I have two more that I want to go over as a group, and then we'll kind of go into maybe some individuals. But so let's start with custom entity models, which I think Loki will be our best suited for that one as well.
Yeah, so we have a few different things. There's the data pack that we run, which is custom roleplay data. So that allows, like, for example, Duds to have his goggles that he has. So that's actually a carved pumpkin that he's wearing on his head. But since we have data that we can tag those specific items with, it allows us to change the appearance of it while it retains, the normal block model that it is. Now, that only allows us to do it with items. So we're very limited to what we can do there. However, there's also the custom entity models is a mod that allows us to use resource packs similar to what you would have with Optifine, where you can base it off of different biomes or named entities to change their appearance as well. And so that allows us to, for example, do the fresh animations, which changes the animations of the mobs to make it a little more realistic. Or, for example, we can change the appearance of a mob to be something else. Like if I wanted to make, a wolf look like a Ravager, that's something I could do and have done. So, stuff like that.
It really helps as well, again, with the storytelling element. Because like when we make episodes, we want you to be able to look and go, oh, they built that. I'd like to give that a go in my world. So you can still take the sort of vanilla side from that. But then when it comes to the fun story elements and the goofing around, we can have like the goggles and things, which just give a nice little bit extra vanilla plus to the storytelling.
They really add in that little bit of lore and the fun bits, but also, like you said, not take away anything extra beyond that. So the next and last one I want to call out specifically here is Tortsens, which we're not exactly in a location that I can show off very well. But Tortsens is one we found this season, and it allows us to add in basically NPCs. They are kind of like a villager AI, and we can put in certain skins on them. So characters that didn't have a person before or wouldn't be there if somebody wasn't playing them can now wander around the server. So for example, we've got Old Bones Jones has been wandering around the server. And so normally that would have to be me. I'd have to come in and I say, I'm Old Bones Jones. And just yell and act crazy and wander around being that character for as long as somebody needs. But as of now, I recorded those voice lines. I sent them over to Loki. And now Old Bones Jones is a character that just kind of wanders around No Water. If you right click on him, he will say things. He'll say his voice lines, or he'll kind of say ambient lines, kind of like a villager wanders around and goes, huh. Old Bones Jones wanders around and says, I can't think of a single one now on the spot.
I'm almost Jones.
Yeah, I'm almost Jones.
Guess what color socks I'm wearing today? That's
Guess what color socks I'm wearing today? Yep. That's great.
Have you seen my goat?
Have you seen my goat, Jasper? One of the new ones.
He's in the room.
I need to add the new ones, yeah.
Oh, it hasn't been added yet?
No, I gotta get on the research.
All right.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. One of the new ones is based on an adventure Mega and Harwould and I had. And it's, I'm bad to the Jones.
Bad to the Jones. Love it.
It's been so much fun. It's one of those mods that we added that doesn't add anything gameplay wise, doesn't add anything but lore and just the ambiance and that activity to the world. You hear a lot of content creators talking about things that add life to the world, and this is one of those mods that just I'm so excited for it because I personally think that this could be one of those that you see in the future of content creation in general. It adds life to the world and in ways that you can add lore and do all kinds of things. There's a world of possibilities opened up there.
Yeah, we were discussing in the meeting as well the possibility of packaging it up with the world download, perhaps at the end of the season. So actually, you, the viewer, can then jump into the world and meet the characters that you've seen in episodes over the season, and they'll have the voice lines, and it just adds more life to the world that you can also take part in as well.
Which is such an exciting idea. All right, so from there, I wanted to talk about just content creation mods in general. I know we've burnt through all the
biggies,
the big ones, but I felt like that was more fair than saying what's your favorite and everybody's waiting as somebody says replay mod like Matica. So in general, what are some other content creation mods that you use and think should be out there more or want to, tell people about? Nailed
Duds.
it.
I don't think there's any mod. Like, I'm the worst person to be here. I'm
You
the
have
most
resource pack though. You have that cool font.
That's
but
true.
that's a random font I found on Reddit 5 years ago.
But it's part of your character and part of your brand at this
The look
point.
of the content, yeah.
We can't say it's part of my brand because I don't even know who made it, so it's hard to credit the guy.
Fair
Mr.
enough.
Font. Oh, it's not font in the fan Discord, is it? That'd be too much of a coincidence.
So there's another one that everybody's glossing over that we're actually using right now.
Yeah, I was about to say the sit is one of the things I'm surprised has not made it into vanilla yet.
Yeah.
Sit is fantastic. There's so much ambiance. Let's just sitting here, enjoying the view of the area and just kind of all sitting around waiting to be served our drinks. And while it adds nothing to the game itself, it adds so much to lore and just like walking around and just kind of sitting down at somebody's base and having a chat. We do that quite frequently where we'll go hang out at somebody's base and just find a place, sit down and chat.
Yeah. I mean, another big one, I suppose, is the sort of performance mods like Sodium or Optifine and the shaders as well. I've heard so many people saying, "Oh, people don't like shaders, people do like shaders," and it sort of seems to be a middle ground where it's kind of nice to be maybe vanilla doing the walk around bit and then shaders in time lapses. But I really like having them for the SMP because I like season 1 I used BSL shaders, which gave everything a certain look. And then because I changed them for season 2, it separates the two and gives them their own kind of identity, which I really like. But that's quite a biggie, I think, shaders.
Oh, for sure. I think there's like you said, people like vanilla and people like shaders, and I think what we found this season is that vanilla plus kind of shaders even. It's not a requirement in any way, shape, or form to the series or to anybody playing. But this season, Complementary Reimagined has felt very vanilla plus, and that's what I love about them in general.
Yeah, Oliver mentions the head mods. I think the drinks are modded. I mean, technically it's a data pack, so it's not really a mod. It's, that's still vanilla Minecraft because it's Minecraft functionality. But yeah, we do things with data packs also and resource packs to kind of move things along. The heads and the Wandering Trader stuff we've done. We basically modified the data pack that they have on vanilla tweaks. They've got the mob heads, and there's, I think, the villager trader ones that will do, like, I think they have like the hermit heads or something like that in there, or the mini blocks. So we tweaked that to add custom heads as well, because otherwise you'd have to like bring them in and give them to players in a kind of a cheaty way. So this way we allow it to be available through the Wandering Traders. To that also, we have adapted, or we've got a data pack to make the Wandering Traders more frequent as well. So we have the vanilla wandering trader with the 2 llamas, and then we have wandering traders that spawn, I think, every 30 to 60 minutes in game per player, so that's more available as well, because otherwise it takes forever to find wandering traders. Trying to think what other data packs
There's
we
a
have.
bit of a reason there, just because we've loaded so many heads.
Yeah, there's a lot of heads, and so sometimes getting the right head, might take a long time. But yeah, we have that. I'm trying to think of any other data packs that we have that are different. We run data packs to complement Taterzens to fix the functionality that they have there, because Taterzen has the ability to do ambient sounds for the Taterzens that you create or the NPCs. It doesn't work, so I had to fix it with data packs, and so we have sound functionality there. And I mean, other stuff through vanilla tweaks. One person's sleep is something, although I think that's now vanilla Minecraft too. The AFK displays. So, like, if somebody's AFK for a while, their name on the tab screen goes gray, so that you know that, oh, this person's not here. They're just at a farm or something like that. There's that. There's all the different tweaks to, like, crafting. Sometimes some folks will use, or I think we have like Enderman griefing is off, because it sucks when Endermen start stealing all your blocks and everything.
Moving your build.
I think
Moving your build. Yeah,
I think a point about what you said, though, was that some of these things that we have changed or have been changed are now coming to vanilla. So it says something about that range that we want to operate in too, because that's like we have a pack that makes it so that you can play. Records with the jukebox
Yes.
with Redstone. That's now coming to vanilla. As well as, like we were talking about, the different head packs. One thing I'm excited about next season and next update is the functionality for you to tie sounds to those heads and then put them on a note block and play them with Redstone.
I 100% guarantee that there'll be a vanilla tweaks pack that has all of the mob heads in there. It's going to complement the mob heads pack. I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
And if it doesn't, we will build one. Like, it will be a thing. Like, for sure. That is just gonna happen.
Oh yeah. And they set it up to be that, though, too. Like, Mojang themselves were like, hey, we have set this up in a way that you can tie whatever you want to it. So basically they set it up for that opportunity to be that. But also, say one of these seasons we take Beta's head and tie it up so that you push a button and Beta says a voice line.
Or Dud says a voice line.
Or Dud says a voice line.
Hello.
There we go.
Hey. Unsolicited cameo.
So there is one other. Loki is much more particular about the difference between mod and data pack, and then we've got resource packs and shaders. I guess I probably should have specified or not specified that this is a little more loose than that. But one other one that we use quite frequently, and you see on a lot of servers, is the armor stand pack. And so you'll see that this beautiful seagull here, well, you'll see if you're seeing the video version, is holding a fish. And the way that was done was through invisible armor stands. And so basically that armor stand is holding the fish, and then we move the armor stand up so that it looks like this mob head is then holding the fish. And there are so many cool things you can do with armor stands.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've forgotten her name from Hermitcraft. She's like the super genius.
Leo? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you can do some incredible things with that.
See, that also points
some
out,
people
though,
make like rugs and things with it. It's insane.
Oh yeah. Then beyond that is the ability then to take item frames and make them invisible, or place items in spots. So I know last season we had a retextured Totem of Undying that looked like a trophy, and we used armor stands to make it look like that trophy was just sitting on the counter.
Yeah.
That trophy made it all the way to Ripple Season 3, by the way.
Did it really?
Yep, it's
That's
in
awesome.
Ripple Season 3 right now.
Nice.
Or
That's so
Season
cool.
4. Season 4, I'm sorry.
I think we just added it in the pack too for some of those things to come back as little lore drops. I know I'm working on a big storage room right now that I plan to put all kinds of little bits of lore hidden around. Jess, do you wanna talk a little bit about simple voice chat?
Simple voice chat, which we don't really use.
We don't, but see, that's you can
it's kind
say
of
the
good.
positives and
And-
negatives because we have a specific reason for why we don't use it as much.
Because we're always in Discord.
Yes.
It's handy. I prefer. So we were talking about replay mod earlier. There's a sort of a sister mod that goes with replay mod that actually records everyone's voices individually, which is so handy when you're editing a group thing together, because each voice is isolated and you don't have to worry about people talking over each other, because you can edit them separately to stretch out the gaps so they all fit nicely, and it just makes it nicer for the audience when they're watching to be able to hear kind of what everyone says in a group situation rather than all talking over each other at the same time. I mean, it's simple voice mod is handy. I think we found it really useful early part of the season, when we were all kind of grouped around and doing things in the same area. Obviously now we're a bit further apart, so Discord is the easier option.
There's also
I am surprised though there isn't a sort of basic chat thing client set up in the game vanilla wise, but I suppose the development tends to be more focused on the single player game rather than the multiplayer, so maybe that's the reason. But
Yeah, and there's always the opportunity that we could always sit, like we could do basically what we're doing now in Discord most of the time, where we sit in voice chat in game and just people can join the group and then talk even though you're far away from each other. But yeah, a lot of times it's more casual, and so we're sitting. Usually we'll use voice chat more for just recording. We know that we're going to be recording, but it's more of like kind of a, yeah, it is more early game because that's when you get more of the spontaneous stuff. But at the same time, you could just make it a point like, okay, yeah, let's make sure that we're keeping voice chat on when we're around. Also, so that you can utilize other mods like the audio player mod that we have as well, which allows us to do custom horn sounds and custom record discs. So you can do weird things with that as well. I have a few record discs that have the custom tracks I had made for each of the Robot Masters in there. So I'm actually going to start implementing those in my base. But it's fun to play around with. You can do all sorts of things with it.
yeah, there are pros and cons, I think, both to Discord and the voice chat. If you imagine the start of season 1, that first day when pretty much every single member was on, all going in different directions in our little groups, if we were all sat in Discord talking, then it wouldn't make any sense visually at all. So having that, I can hear you because you're stood next to me, which is what you get with the simple voice chat, was brilliant for that.
Yeah.
And Discord, again, it's the ease of going, oh, look, there's 3 people on. I can just go in and chat, and then we can record a scene together if we want to do that separate.
Yeah, there's another part though too, as far as content creation is there's all kinds of different stages of content creation. There's somebody hanging out in the CMP, the creative version of the server, designing their build. There's somebody that's editing, and then there's somebody that's playing and building something, or there's somebody that's taking the night off, and all 4 of those people can be hanging out and talking, whereas in-game doesn't allow for that opportunity. So yeah, it's definitely a case by case. With us being more not doing this as a primary job for most of us, Discord seems to be the better option for us for most occasions. I am looking down the list here to see what else we've got. So I hesitate to point out ones that do change a little bit in the game. But with this many people, we do use double shulker shells. Getting shulker shells is so slow, vanilla. I would like to see that increase. So we did try without it though. And the reasoning was you can now farm shulkers. But that then boiled down to if we had somebody that wanted to farm shulkers and do the breeding shulkers. I think Dave said, to be fair with the farm. Yeah, we do have most of our shulkers now have come from Dave's farm. But that is one that we use.
I mean, the farms are great, but once the farms are up, that's kind of content over. Whereas we like to go in raiding and chat while we're doing that and stream it maybe or whatever. So actually being able to go and get them is great, but also having the double means it's more worthwhile.
One that I don't use, but we have is was it the terracotta rotation wrench? I don't think I've ever used that. But we have that to rotate terracotta or glaze terracotta. Silence mobs, where we can silence mobs with the name tag.
Oh, yes. Maybe this guy.
He has been quite loud.
There we go.
Give him a snack. There you go.
We have armored carved pumpkins, although not sure. Maybe Duds uses his.
Duds tried.
He tried. Oh, okay. Well, I can show how to use it, but
aren't you the one that lost a helmet because you put it on the ground and it became a pumpkin?
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
And your point?
It was an expensive mistake.
Armored carved pumpkin, it's supposed to go with the armored or the carved pumpkins that we have as like different hats and stuff, where you can combine them with a piece of armor like the helmet. I mean, specifically the helmet, to actually add that functionality of the helmet to your carved pumpkin, so you actually have armor and stuff. You can use respiration or whatever with it. Like I've used that in other SMPs before. I had a steampunk top hat that was armored, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think many people, if any, are using that. We have it though.
That's your goggles are armored, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Just there.
Yeah, so yeah, the perfect example would be Duz's goggles.
So what are your goggles then, technically, at this point? They are a carved pumpkin and...
I can read it to you. A netherite helmet base, aqua affinity, fire protection 4, mending, and respiration 3.
Nice.
That's
but
impressive.
you still had to get that helmet. It's not like we created the goggles that had all that on. It's still the gameplay is still the same.
I had to get that helmet twice because of placing the goggles on the ground.
Placing the pumpkin.
So I counted it as fully fair since I spent 2 netherite ingots on this hat.
I was gonna see if we can do a live demonstration real quick here, because it should work since it's a data pack.
I feel like this is a stand-up moment.
I mean, also it's nice as well because we use the invisible armor mod, which is because we've got these lovely skins and they take ages to make, and we want to show them off. And also that helps with the sort of storytelling and stuff. You know, if you want a specific skin for a part of story you're telling, but being able to still be armored and see the skin is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, see, that's a great point, because that's actually how we met. Is you suggested that mod to me that resource pack on Twitter, and I haven't not used it since.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going some way to sort of fix that with the armor trims for that kind of individuality.
So you're supposed to be able to just well, I could change the appearance, but I'm not going to. So you basically throw them both on top, and it's not working.
Yay!
Oh, we're on the CMP. It doesn't have the same things.
Yeah, I thought I had the data packs. I'm pretty sure it does.
On the CMP?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess Duds' goggles are there, so we must have something similar.
Maybe I did it wrong. I don't know. I thought it was with these two. You're supposed to be able to just throw it on top. It may be very specific.
Yeah, full disclosure, we are on the CMP, mainly so that we didn't have times changing in the background of your podcast.
Well, he has his goggles because it came over because we copy the SMP over, so it probably has all the metadata still in it. It may, the data pack may just not work on
That's
this
fair
server right now.
Yeah, I'm full of metadata.
So, is there any other content creation mods that you can think of, or maybe the chat can think of that they would be curious about knowing more about, or that we
I
should
mean, we all
talk
have
about?
personal favorites that maybe others don't use. Mine are more fussy.
What about what I'm using now? I'm floating. The
Oh,
F4.
Freecam.
Freecam.
I don't use that other than this for the most part, but Duds,
Freecam
you
is
use Freecam, right?
so good.
I use Freecam all the time
There we
because
go.
I build in survival, so a lot of my time planning out is free camming to a good position to get an overcast view, and I have a sheet of paper and I'll draw a sketch a little bit of it out, and then I go from there.
Okay, so
So
you
free
use it
cam is
for
very
a bit of like
important.
a screenshot, a different angle at something.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I use
all
it
the
for screenshots
thumbnail.
all the time.
Yeah, all the thumbnails are free cam screenshots.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so that's what we're using right now. That's why my body's sitting there off to the side, so that we can kind of move the camera around during the podcast. It's not
What's your field of view?
my field of
It
view.
might look weird because it's in a tiny screen, but
Probably 88, I think.
oh, that's too
Want to
much.
poke the
Too
camera.
much. Poke the camera. Do it.
No, because I'm in creative, I'll destroy just his build.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, you just right click on it instead of. Well, I guess it would make the motion.
I think another thing for Freecam as well is once you've built something, especially if it's something big and you want to show it off, it's just, could you imagine flying around with rockets and elytra trying to show off a huge build? It would be
There's so
an absolute
many
nightmare.
YouTubers that have been doing it forever that are still doing it that way, and I'm like, I know you have free cam, just free cam it, please. This hurts.
Well, it confuses some of the people. Like I had a comment on my last video. They're like, "How are you flying?" And I had to explain to them, "No, I'm not flying. It's free cam." I mean, I say it every time I use it, so I don't know, but
Yeah, it's kind of like
yeah,
a
it's
quick
sometimes
spectator
avoid that
mode.
conversation.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "That's cheating." It's like, not really.
I mean, so there are ways to cheat with this one. So I mean, we can address that. There are ways to cheat to a degree with Freecam. You could find things that you couldn't normally find, looking under the earth and things like that. But
I would think it would be if we were playing a competitive or like speed running or a competitive game together. Yeah, definitely cheating is involved. But it's not like you don't watch a movie and go, well, that's not a real gun, so that's cheating, and he shot that person. You know, so we're trying to make things
Yes.
entertaining and tell stories and things. So having those tools, I think, is fine because we're not trying to say, "Hey, look, we're really good at this game, and look, we're getting the high score." So it's you can't cheat when we're not really competing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
mean, that
it's
would be like me saying that people who use Light Matica is cheating because I don't use it. I'm freehanding everything. To each their own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
to
another
that I would
tool.
say, like, what is it that you're looking to get out of like someone's content? You looking for them to suffer the greatest for your content? Is that what you're trying to do? I mean, like, because all you're really doing is like, if you design something on another world, you're either going to take a bunch of screenshots of it and try to recreate it piece by piece that way,
done
or
that.
go really old school and like print out layer by layer where the blocks go. Like it's just a
Get
way
the graph
to
paper out.
I mean, that's how you used to do it. I mean, it really is. Or on Bedrock, that's how you do it. So I don't know. Like Freecam though, like I get it. Like I don't like using it for, searching through caves and stuff like that. Like I rather just be surprised by what I find. I will use it a lot of times if I hear a mob stuck in a wall or something like that. Like,
Same
where's that
thing.
coming from? Like,
because you're
I'm
gonna
like, oh,
dig
hey, I gotta
for
look
it
that up.
anyways. You're just gonna save time. I think it's all about transparency. And like you said, you let people know when you're using it. It's transparency and intention.
Yeah.
And we're playing with groups of friends. That's why we're here. We're here, and we've picked the players that we pick and hang out with people that we do because we trust them and enjoy playing the game together. So I trust and enjoy that the players are using the tools to their advantage to make content the best they can, and not to skirt the rules of the game or yeah.
Yeah, because I remember like even like when we were playing like the first episode that we did where we all went to the end, like we were looking for the entrance to the stronghold. I mean, it was like right there, but like if we were like, okay, let me just fly around in Freecam and look for it, you know, that kind of ruins it. But no one did that. We were literally like searching around trying to find it. It's like, oh, it's right here, you know, the whole
I mean,
time.
it would be detrimental to do that as well, because it's like we're searching for it, and there's a potential we might get killed, and it's exciting, and we're recording it, and it's great content. If we were to have just got to the spot, cut through the earth, and gone, there it is. Where's the content? Where's the entertainment? Where's the fun?
Exactly. And so, I mean,
Everyone
in that
goes right.
regards, I guess we've got some maybe unwritten etiquette that we've never had any issues with our team.
Freecam etiquette. I like it.
Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of things are, especially in general. Playing with different players is a lot of etiquette, and we've got our understanding. That's not to say
Yeah.
we're right. That's just to say that's how we play the game here on Channel 64 and how we use the tools that are presented to us.
Mhm.
Are there any other mods that anybody can think of?
Loads.
That'd
I have
be
two
great
fussy
because
mods,
I'm
and
running out.
I get
I mean-
stick for my mods because I have a mod that turns off the black outline on blocks because it really bugs me. Again, it's a visual thing, so for me, I like my content to be like a movie, yeah, kind of like a movie, and I think that the immersion of that being like a movie is removed slightly when you can point at something and you see this sort of horrible black outline around it. It's a really aesthetic thing. Also have the mod that makes the hotbar automatically drop below the view of the screen as well, which is really handy for doing a conversation with somebody. You don't want a huge hotbar at the bottom ruining that cinematic feeling of the moment.
Right.
So they're quite fussy mods, but yeah, not. I think I'm the only one that uses those two.
I tried the
Inventory
hotbar
profiles
one
as well.
like once, and it
Hmm.
drove me nuts.
Oh, it does take getting some used to.
Yeah.
I have died because of it on more than one occasion, where it dips out. I don't know how much health I've got, and then suddenly I'm dead.
So Alpin brought up a
hey,
question I want to touch on, and then we'll get back to inventory profiles. But Alpin asked, do any of you prefer a camera account over Freecam?
I would love a camera account, but I only have one screen. So
So as one of the members with several screens, I do have a camera account.
Aerington's got all the screens.
I do. I was
It's like
spoiled at
Minority
work.
Report in your room.
So I use a camera account on rare occasion. If there is a situation where I was building and wanted to see it from a distance, I used one recently. We have a Channel 64 camera account, but also NPC account that we used for beta last season, and different non-player characters. So I use that to see a radio tower I was designing in my area because I wanted to see how it looked on the skyline. And that was a lot easier to do from a distance. So there are definitely uses for it, because no Freecam there would have been very annoying, even in creative. But I would say
Yeah,
I have
the
rare occasions.
Yeah, I used to use a camera account before I found Freecam, and now Freecam just makes more sense to me for stuff that I would use a camera account for. I think nowadays the only time I would ever use a camera account, I think I've only used it really once, was when I was AFKing a nether-based farm that requires a bridge in the overworld or a side in the overworld when other people are playing on the server. And the reason for that is if you don't have anybody near the farm in the overworld, all of the entities or mobs that go through the portal immediately despawn on the other side. And so in order for you to run the farm, you either have to wait for everybody to leave the server or be in the nether with you. I think it's in the nether with you to have it work. because otherwise everything starts despawning. That's the only time I've ever done it, and I was running the gas farm once, but I've never used it since then because I have Freecam now.
Duds, do you use a camera account?
Ever since getting Freecam, I do not. I don't even remember my login for the camera account.
Fair enough. So I think we're starting to run low on actual podcast time, so we will touch on
inventory profile.
inventory.
Inventory profiles.
Cutting off my transition.
I remember the day that I showed it to you, and you thought it was magic.
Yes. So let's talk about inventory profiles, and then I think we'll wrap up our time.
Go on then.
Oh, God, I see how to set it up.
No, there's a few of us I think that use not necessarily that one, but there are a couple of mods that are just quick sorting of your inventory or of your chests and things. Again, it's time saving. It's taking more of that fussy work away so we can make better content quicker.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's maybe even just to the organization of maybe finding things a little quicker. I know you can spend hours sorting an area, and really there's nothing that it does that you haven't already really done. The biggest one is, like I said, just visually sorting it and making it kind of prettier. Or can you mass move things without inventory profiles? I know with inventory profiles there's a button and you just click it and things pop up into
you can, but it's fiddly. You need to pick up an item and then move that item over the top of the thing you want to move, and then double click. I think I haven't done it for so long.
Okay,
that's in the vanilla game, but it's just taking them extra steps away.
Right. So
I imagine there's probably a lot of things that mods do in Java that we would have in vanilla were it not for the fact that Minecraft as a whole needs to work on touchscreen devices. It needs to work on mobile phones. It needs, so there are certain mechanics that would make things too complicated for those platforms. So yeah, it's a lovely piece. What's
Mod,
the life thing? Quality of life.
There you go.
Yes, peaceful life quality.
Yeah, so
quality of life thing.
For anybody watching the
that
video,
I think would be in the game, but yeah.
Basically what it'll do is take this inventory and then sort it all and put everything like together, or you can sort it into rows or columns. I said that backwards. But then you can do that in your chests and kind of keep track of things. So it is very nice and just a kind of quicker organization tool.
Yeah, I use inventory sorter, which is an even lower tech version of that, where it just sorts things out alphabetically in your inventory or chest or whatever. And I use that a lot for when I'm putting stuff into my multi-item sorting system, so that it combines like partial stacks together and stuff like that. Otherwise, I have to do that manually, and that takes time.
Absolutely.
We don't have any time.
So
you're too busy being hilarious.
I know, right? Too busy. But yeah, I think what we got at here though is that there are a lot of useful mods and things that help us as content creators make the content in a timely manner. The reality is most of us have other jobs or work and things to do. This is something we get to do in our free time and choose to do to make content. And so anything that we can do to make that more enjoyable, more time efficient, while not breaking the confines of what we feel is the game or vanilla, which that line's different for everybody, and we respect that. But we've got a sort of understanding here on Channel 64 of where we find that line, and I think every SMP's got that, where they've got the line and the understanding with their members. And so we find those opportunities to make our content quicker and get more out for everybody that enjoys it.
Perfect.
So I think that's all the time we have for today. A reminder for anybody watching on YouTube, this was recorded live in the Channel 64 community Discord. If you want to hang out with us in the future and ask questions, make sure you follow that link below to join us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.